Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to get on the RM250. We're going to start the assembly of the lower end and we'll just see how far we get. But let me get you overhead and we'll get started on this thing. Okay guys, first thing we need to do is get our kick assembly in, and I need to show you one thing before we get going here. I don't know how good this is going to show up. Let me find it. There is a dot right here. Just look for it. None of the rest of the splined areas had it. It's right on the end of the lower spline. That needs to line up with this dot that's right here on that spline. So I've got it right here. We're going to slide this up and I've got it right there. So now you probably can't see it, but there's a dot right there and a dot right here. So that's properly lined up. So the next thing we need to do is get our spring. That's going to go on here like this, and then our washer. Let me grab something here and measure that washer for you. It's 60,000, or let me go to millimeters here. It's about 1.5 millimeters, and it's 17 millimeters ID and about 34 millimeters OD. Okay, I messed that up when I set it down. Got to watch that. Dots there, dots here. Get our spring on and our washer, just like that. And then this little catch here is going to fall down into right back here behind this piece. Let me get a little bit of oil on that first. Okay, so and it goes, and it fits right back behind there. Now we can, you want to hold on to that so it doesn't fall out, and we're going to go and flip it over to the, actually I probably need it right like that. Let me see if I can move it real quick, turn it around. Okay, yeah, need this. Once you get it turned around, that's pretty much all you do over there for a while anyhow. Okay, next thing we need to do is get our spring in, and take note that the holes are right here on top. You're going to put, you can only really put it in one way, so we're going to put the catch right here, and then we're going to wrap this tang around until it goes into the top hole right there. And I'm going to have to move you a bit here. So I've got some room to wrench it in there. It can get kind of tight. Okay, so we've got about a half a turn. Oops, oops, oops. This fell out. I better look at it. Okay, it's still the way it should be. I'm going to have to get it back in there. If you get that behind that that guide, it shouldn't fall out, but as you can tell, it did. Get it up there, get it started. And then try to wiggle it down in there. You may have to push it, maneuver it a little bit. And then you want your collar, and that's going to go, probably doesn't really matter, but it came out with the lettering up. So that's how we'll put it back in. And that should come down to where you can see here the snap ring groove is. So I can go ahead and get that on. And you want to put the sharp edge of that snap ring towards the top. That's to keep it on. The rounded edge will go down towards your plastic collar there. It's not going to tell you that. That's just good shop practice, guys. If you go to snap ring, maybe if you do a Google search or something, it'll tell you that that's how they're supposed to go back in. That's the best grip. Okay, so we've got our kicker in there. Let me grab it real quick and let me see if that's going to work the way it's supposed to. Okay. Goes on like that. And of course it's got to go this way. Oops, and I hit the stand there. So and it should retract it back towards the front of the engine. So that looks proper. And let me get this moved back around. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the crank in. And before we do that, we'll lube the seal up good. I always put those seals in with a little black RTV around the outside, just a little bit. You don't want it getting down the bearing. We'll see if we can get this in there without, without pulling it in, but probably not. Get some oil on there, and now there's no shims that go in this at all. Oh boy, it just fit right in there. Nice. Okay. I like that. Now, something really good about these Suzukis is you can kind of put everything, you don't have to have everything together when you're doing it. What I mean by together, you don't have to have all the shift forks and the gear sets and everything all together. Now, the only place that you're going to need a shim is going to be right here. And this one is, it's basically 1 millimeter by 17 millimeter by 28 millimeter. Okay, and that's going to go right here. That's the only one you need. I'm going to get a little, I mean, there's other shims in there, but that's the only one that goes towards any of the bearings. Like say, here's another shim right here, and I just put a little oil on that to lubricate our needle bearing. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of grease. And we'll just apply that right here. Just hold that on. Okay, so go ahead and get your gear set. It should go like this. And you can start those into your bearings. Okay, and everything should be seated down, and you should be flush here with your gears. No washers on this side. Next thing needs to go in is your shifting drum. And you need to make sure that you've got your limit right here installed on the back side. Otherwise it's just going to fall out. And we're going to stick that in. And let's see, here's your neutral. So you want to point it towards the detent down here, just like that. And go ahead and get your detent in. I just put a little lubricant on it. Let's go ahead and screw it in. Not sure how good you're going to be able to see that. Let me grab a light. You can see probably not all that good, but I've got that detent into that neutral. Now we're going to start. Now I'm not going to tighten it up, just leave it kind of loose so you can move it a little if you need to. Okay, take your dog-legged shift fork here and find your, let's get a little oil on it. You can lube most of this up when you get it all assembled here. But find the gear that it goes in, and then get it up into the drum. It'll locate itself, and then you can take your pin. You don't want a lot on here because the suction will keep it from getting seated. Okay, so that one's in. Grab your double. Okay, you want to grab your first one. It's going to say 2-3. These both look pretty close, but they're really not. The major difference is right here. If you will take a caliper and go to the top and get a spread on those right there. I got about 3609 on that one. And you can see this one here is a lot less than that. So you look for the smaller diameter gear, which is your inner one. That one's going to get the one that says 2-3, but it's going to go with this reinforcement up. So we'll get a little lube on it. Let me see if I can get you a little closer here. Okay. The 2-3 down like this, and a little reinforcement up. You're going to slide that one in and bring it over, and it's going to center it right where it needs it in the drum there. Then we're going to do the same thing with the next one. And the numbers are down like this. Reinforcement up. Find your, whoops, that's the problem right there. Get it in the drum there. Right there, stay. Like it's going to, you know. And same with this one. Find your groove in the drum. Get a little oil. Again, not too much on the bottom because you don't want it. That one actually has a hole in it so it can relieve itself kind of going in there. And then you can go ahead and get that one started just like that. Now, with that being, let's see here. Okay, since you put it in neutral by putting the detent right here, now it should be in neutral. See? So you know everything's right. If you've got anything bound up or doesn't want to move at this point, you need to go back and check your installation. But that's good. It feels good. Should be a good install. Okay, just backed you up a little bit so you can see. So I believe we're in good shape here. And you can go ahead and get some oil down into your shift forks. Okay. So we're good there. Okay, looks like all our holes line up pretty good. I've got one here, one back here. So now's the time to kind of, if you need to work on those holes a little bit, do so. The aftermarket just doesn't get it like the OEM does. But they're not bad. I've seen a lot worse. Let me finish on this a little bit. I just use a little grease and put along the sealing surface. You could put it on dry. I just prefer to do this. One thing you want to do is try to get a little grease around your dowel pins. That'll help because they always want to rust on you. So if you get a little grease around them when you put the two cases together, hopefully it'll kind of serve to seal that up. You want to make sure to go ahead and run your detent all the way in. I've got my drain plug there too. When we get it all installed, then we'll tighten those up. And I'll go ahead and get some oil on my crankshaft here. And a little bit on both ends of the shafts. And remember, no washers on this side. All right, and get the other case. Okay, make sure you get a little oil on your seal and the bearing too. Get a little inside there. And make sure you get oil in your bearings. And throw a little Yama lube in this one. Okay. And maybe a little bit right there. So everything will slip together. Take one last look at your cases. Make sure you're clean everywhere. You don't want to lay on that too much because it'll want to push the shafts out, and that's not what you want. More than likely dowel pins at this point. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the pusher on this side, and that way I won't lose while I'm trying to get the other end in. Okay, it seems like it's kind of going together now. The dowel pins are usually the issue. And I had to put one new one in. Okay, that looks good. Everything's still loose at this point. So I don't think I'm going to need that crank installer. I'll just go ahead and get the screws and we'll get started trying to get it together. Everything seems okay. And you can go ahead and remove your gasket up here. Just kind of holds everything together while you're getting to this point. Okay. All right, feels great. Okay, let's go ahead and get these set. Yeah, probably put that up here a little premature. Maybe I can get around it. Okay guys, now you got to remove this little bracket. Remember I put that in there just to keep the drum from falling back through. And we've got to build up our gear changer here. And you've got to take a look at these. They're not identical. They're a different one for either side. So you got to make sure that you've got a spring that goes in the hole. And then you've got a plunger. And the plunger has got a rounded top and a flat bottom. The flat goes towards the spring. And this is not an easy thing to do. And then you put your, see this one won't work over here. You've got to use the other one. Fits down in there and the plunger goes in that slot. Okay, so that's how it needs to be. Now you got to hold on to that one while you load the other one. Spring, plunger, flat edge down. And our paw. Well, I think I got them mixed up how to do that. Okay, it's not the easiest thing, and don't get any don't put any grease in there or anything for now. That you'll just really be fighting yourself if you do that. Okay, we got them both in, and we've got the slots towards the bottom here. So you got to kind of hold these together. Oops, I'm losing it. And it goes with the slot, or the 5 teeth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the back. Okay, so they're in there. So now I'll go ahead and get these brackets back on. Okay, the 5 towards the back here, the 4 towards the front. Okay, this is the shaft I made, and put it back on. If you didn't see that video, look it up for the shift shaft for the RM. Actually, I made one for a TS also, but this would be the newest one. So we went through the heat treating, the knurling, and reinstalling it back on the arm here. And I've got the spring installed, and that's going to spread between this right here. I've already checked that, made sure it was tight. And just be careful rolling this back through that you don't tear up your seal. Kind of wiggle it as you go in, and that should be right, just like that. And we're in neutral. Yep. I can hold it on the other side, so that should be good. I don't do these every day, guys, but I think I'm right there. Okay, let me get ready to hook up the clutch. I am going to tighten these up, so I almost forgot. All right. Okay, let's get our idler on. This one is 24 by 17 by 1. Right there. And let's lube it up a little bit. Oops, wait a minute, I put that in the wrong place. It goes on the outside. Just like that. And again on the snap ring, if you feel it, find the sharp edge, it goes out. Oops. What did I do with my snap ring plier? There it is. I think that's the one I used. There we go. All right. Let's get to the clutch, I think. Or should we get the other gear on? Probably should get this thing here started. So I'll go ahead and get my key on, installed. And our gear. It's kind of wanting to, we don't want it to do that. Okay, if you get this just kind of pushed down with a screwdriver or something on the back of the key there, so it just slides on, no force needed. And then we'll get our washer with the lock on it. And remember, this is left hand. They've got an L on the nut. And I'm just going to leave it right there for right now. We've got a washer that goes in back here. And that one is going to be 38 by 20 by 2. And we're going to get our needle bearing all lubed up nice. And we've got our spare spacer and our bearing. And we'll just get some of that oil up there in the clutch too. And of course these two have got to mesh, and so does the primary gear. There we go. Okay. Then we got another one the same size here. It's 38 by 20 by 2. Right there. And then we get our and let's see, I think I've got a new washer for that one. That's not it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. I'm going to reuse that one. Just took it over and flattened it out a little bit. And a little lube on our threads there. Okay, let me see if I can find some tools here. Okay, I'm going to have to use my universal one here. All right. Okay, put my penny down here behind it, and we're left-handing here. Pull that off and get my biggin on there. All right, I think that's about it. It got into our penny pretty good. That's good for a couple more. All right, so we need to bend this one over and this one over. Okay, so we can reach in here with our pliers and bend that one. Oops, sorry. It's kind of shaky there. I think I've got a piece there. I'm probably not going to get to that one. I have to get my punch in there. I think I've got another pair of pliers, a little thinner. Yeah, there we go. All right. They looked like they had both of them pulled over, so I guess I'll go ahead and do it. All right, so that's that one. And then I'll get over here and I can get behind it with a chisel and get it lip to come up. And see if I can move that to where I can get it with my pliers. Yes, indeed. There we go. And I'm going to get in there and kind of tap that down a little bit. All right. All right. feels good. And I got to get my plates. And let's see, we've got 4 alloy and 1 steel. And the steel goes on first, like that. Let me get the rest of them. Okay, I've had all my plates soaking down here for several days actually. So we've got our steel one on first. I'm going to grab a couple pairs of gloves here so I don't just get all that oil all over me. It should not run down too much. Most of it I think will run into the engine, but we'll have a little bit. These are brand new ones. And I've got brand new springs also. Okay, we've got our bearing and our actuator in there. Okay. And we got our new springs. Alright, got to get rid of my gloves and find a wrench. Okay, I've got them all started, so I'll just kind of slowly run them down. Alright. Alright. So that's in. Oh, what else we got here? Oh, we need to get our got the detent here. Get it tight and the oil drain. All right, so those are done. We should be good here, but I'm going to do a little testing just to make sure. Okay, it's kind of hard to do this because the shaft wants to keep coming out, but we'll just watch it and see if we can get it to work here. Okay, there's low. And there's neutral. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And there's neutral. We're all good there. Okay, so let me get it turned around. We'll try to get this side on. Okay, again, let's get a little grease around these dowels. Just keeps the moisture from getting in there. And I'll just go ahead and apply a little to the sealing surface. Okay. A little oil on our kick shaft so we don't damage the seal. And a little on the seal itself too. Now, let's see what this aftermarket gasket does. Well, not too bad. Looks like the bottom ones, for the most part, are good. And I've got just a little trimming to do on two of the top ones. Let me get that done. All right, I went ahead and put some grease around this. Okay, get your teeth kind of down like that. And hopefully it'll slide right on there. It's engaged. Got a little bit here on this, there, the dowel. Okay, so there's all that. So let me round up some screws. Okay. Get our oil fill plug in. And let me whip it over and we'll take care of the other side. All right. Got our O-ring. Don't want to forget that, because if you do, when you put it on the side stand, it's going to leak. And you've got the taper end here. That's going to go with the O-ring. I'm just going to put a little grease on that. And a little oil around here. There we go. And a new sprocket. And I've got new hardware for the flywheel, and I do have a key, but I'm not going to stick it in there right now. I've got to clean up the stator. It's pretty corroded. We need to rewire it. So it, like I say, it's looking pretty bad, pretty sad. Let's get some new wiring, sheathing on it, and that way it'll be just as new and nice as the rest of it. I'll go ahead and get that tightened up. Okay, should do it. And I just need to bend that one over. Okay. Okay guys, there's our bottom end. So I think we're good on this. I've got to bore the cylinder, and I think I've got everything, but I'm not real positive. But we've got to bore the cylinder, and check the head and all that stuff too. So all that'll be coming up. But at least I've got this off my bench. I've got a couple other jobs I need to get done. I've got a boring job on a 175 twin cylinder Honda coming up. And what else is there? Oh, I've got to bore the lower end of a Lawn Boy lawnmower for a needle bearing. We're going to cut out the bushing and install a needle bearing. So look for all that stuff. It should be coming up sometime in the near future. But anyhow, there's our Suzuki RM250 C2 build, lower end. Okay guys, there you have it, the Suzuki RM250 C2 lower end build. I'm not sure when we'll get to the rest of it, but I had to get my bench cleaned off so I could get on with some other projects. We'll also be getting back on the HS1. We'll go through a Will It Run on that, and I may have some parts the next time that we see each other with the YJ2, so I may be able to kind of get started on that a little bit. But as of right now, the Suzuki is, probably on hold until I've got a couple of boring jobs to do. Anyhow, at this point, if you like what's happening here, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you feel like. It's interaction. YouTube really doesn't care. It's just up or down, whatever. It's, you know, when you comment, when you do the up and down, when you do the subscription, whatever, it helps it in the algorithms to go out to more people. So if you would, I sure would appreciate it. And you know, I try my best to do some good content here. I know there's some people that don't like it. You know, I get thumbs down on about all of them. It's you know, I guess I kind of think that if the guy don't like it, why is he watching? You know, but anyhow, no harm, no foul. But if you would, please subscribe, and if you ring or hit the little bell icon, then every time I do one of these, you'll be the first to know. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.